On. What is it?
Yep, I'll do it.
Okay.
Okay.
Good morning, good evening, good night, beautiful, beautiful people. How are you doing? I hope you're blessed, highly favored. If you're not Christian, I just hope that you're awesome. Welcome back to another episode of Controversial Topics. Oh, and I'd like to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. And this is a meme I saw, but kind of resonate with a friend of mine, so he asked me if I could say this on the show. For all the women who faked pregnancies to try and trap a nigga, you are you are mothers too. You're motherfucking liars.
Wow.
Anyway,
Wow.
This is how you start.
Wow.
Oh, this man
And
doesn't like
no,
this.
you know what's
Oh,
you know what's
I'm not
amazing
sure
about
I
this?
be here anymore.
You know
I'm
what's
not sure I be here anymore.
amazing about
Sir,
this?
what's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? That's not how you start. You
yeah,
look
excuse
like
my
me.
language.
Oh my God.
I'm going to make sure I book an appointment for the both of us to get some
Oh my
therapy
God.
because we
Oh,
need help.
oh. Yo, you caught me off guard with that one. Not bad, sir. I give that a 9 out of 10. Not bad.
Hey, you
Not
see
bad.
the minute
9
I
out of 10.
heard him say
Oh,
a friend of his wanted him to say this on the podcast, I said it's some
oh,
pregnancy bullshit, isn't it?
no, no. When I heard mother, I'm like, oh, something sweet. Hey, all right, cool. Shoot, why not? Throw it out there, because, we all love women. Wow, son. Really? Really? You
I'm
want
glad
to
you
live
guys
this
didn't
life,
want to
I
card
see.
me.
Yes.
No.
I want to throw the whole thing at you, really. I want to throw the whole thing at you.
No.
Bang.
Leave a
Wow.
sub-zero cool like the man.
Oh my God. That was a good one. Oh, oh, this is not going to end well. Well, continue. Let's begin.
And
This is not going to end
Anyway,
well. Yes.
all right. So, our decent lineup of discussions that we want to have. So first things first, we're gonna go through a rather controversial movement. Been controversial since the beginning for various
but
reasons. Now it's more controversial than it was in the beginning for
to be
additional
to be fair, if
reasons.
we're being fair, the modernization has caused it to spiral into this monster that seemingly can't be stopped at the moment.
Yeah. So, said it here last week, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about feminism.
Mm.
All right. So we were supposed to have
Many more
several.
females.
We were trying to get several females on tonight to discuss these three topics because I mean we actually needed some pushback. We don't want it to just be just our opinions just being thrown out, like as Bradshaw said earlier, as like an echo chamber.
Yes.
Yeah, we needed different opinions, we needed some pushback, but the ladies couldn't come. I sent out the text to them just the same, kind of get some ideas of their thoughts on it. I got some pretty decent thoughts. But as it relates to feminism, I want to kind of go through the history first.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so originally, when specifically in America, when white guys were running the country, still are, but when they were, so it's basically that they were just oppressive to everybody, including their own white women. So the white women were just not satisfied with the amount of liberty that they had, and they demanded more. And how black women got involved was that they needed to white women needed to boost the feminists, original feminists, which are white, needed to boost their numbers, and they recruited black women and other ethnicities and races in putting in their heads the idea that the reason for their oppression, the reason why women were second-class citizens, was not because of white men only, but men in general. So when they just needed numbers for their marches, their protests, their petitions, etc. And over time they got their additional liberties. Well, the original feminists, the white women, got their additional liberties. As for the other women who they used to boost their numbers, zilch. They literally got nothing. There were no additional marches for black women or any other race. There were no additional petitions. There were no additional protests or anything of the sort. So, I mean, I don't know, I guess it's something that some black feminists can think about. Like the origin of the thing of this movement. It didn't really include you because you were never considered a woman. You were just a head count. You were literally just a head count. Just to help someone who was actually helping to oppress you. But I digress. Um, but no, like it has been the movement does have some sensible points in terms of like not abusing women, equal pay, equal rights, and so forth. However, they have been skewed, and that's putting it mildly, over the decades. And like even now, there are a lot of women, even if you even exclude the origin of feminism, there are a lot of women who look at it and just realize that there are women who just use feminism to just try and get away with shit and just try to play victim roles.
Yep.
There are also some black women, especially Pan-African black women, who just kind of, as we would say in Jamaica, them burn it out or burn it out or don't deal with it. Again, because of the same crappy idea of women having it in their heads that all men are oppressive, or specifically black women having it in their heads. That even when a black man has done nothing, or he has done only good, he is oppressive to her. Historically, statistically, culturally, racially. That's not true. I'm not saying all black men are perfect. No black man has ever abused a black woman. No black man has ever done wrong for. Again, statistically, culturally, racially, what was the other one I said? And in some other forms. Yeah, there's not much evidence to support it. I don't think I've found anything especially concrete to support that. But I have one young lady on panel. I didn't introduce us by the way. Daria Dowie. We have Xavier the Doctor, Rajiv Harton, and Andrea Bradshaw. And returning after eons to travel through space and time just to get here.
Wow. Wow.
Tony
Wow.
Anna Richards showing her cute face. Oh my god, Tony, yeah! Go girl.
Yo, all that is left for you to do, Dario, is get that big red cape and put KS King Simp.
Anyway, so yeah, Tony, can I have your view or idea of feminism, like what it means to you?
Personally, for me, feminism is basically, I don't know, I think It's just females using an excuse to justify their action in certain ways. I do agree that some of the things that they say are justified because in a lot of cases we are treated less and we are expected to be the one that stay at home and take care of the kids and do this regarding home. And most females are evolving and becoming more self-assured. So it's a good thing and a bad thing, but I do agree that sometimes females take it a bit too far to justify certain situations that are uncalled for.
Thanks. Yeah, that was actually pretty much the consensus of most of the women I asked. So like yeah. So they were saying sorry, let me check. There was a term that one of the young ladies used. Okay, so she just said she's for feminism, the healthy forms. But they have she was referring to a radical feminism where, as we say, they'll just try to play victim and just try to do some underhanded shit and just try to manipulate narratives to their advantage. Because as a young man, my idea of it was this: feminism is my would teach my wife or my daughter that she is more than just her looks. She's more than just a breast, ass, and vagina. She's a human being. She should be respected. She should be treated with respect. She can have a career. She can have it all. I mean, she's not defined by having kids or anything like that. And she is not just I guess I'm not trying to find the words, but I guess she's just not just a woman, but she's also a human. So, I mean, it's not just about her having kids. That doesn't define her. It's not just about her having a man. If that makes sense. But I'm gonna stop chatting because I've been on for like 10 minutes now. Doc, Racha, give us your take. What do you think about feminism?
To be fair, when I was younger, I utterly despised anything that had to do with feminism. Not because I hated the term, it was more so the way people used it and used it so vulgar from where I stood. Because a lot of women that I spoke to around my age, they like to put these nuances that all men are dogs, all men are trash, all men are the same. No man can ever be different. No man changes. And I found it very distasteful because how are you supposed to put that on every man, yet you still want to be married to a man in the future? You still want to have his kids. You still want to build an empire with a man, but yet still all men are dogs. So if by that definition that all men are dogs, why should you get a good man then? Why are you obligated to get a good man? I asked these questions and I was met with I am a vulgar piece of shit. I have nothing going for me and I'm a broke black man. Oh yeah, and this was in Jamaica. This wasn't even in America. I went to college in Jamaica, and trust me, I I heard very colorful words, but I stood by, I allowed things to flourish, and to be fair, I wish to be proven wrong that feminism was um, right for the world itself, because I do believe it is important. However, and as time went by, I realized that it's just getting worse, worse. Females have this petty notion that men they don't need men for anything apart from apparently getting pregnant, as Twitter will lead you to believe. They don't need men for emotional support because oh they're all so amazing at giving emotional support to their children. They don't apparently the consensus is they don't need us for everything. But I wonder, when you're gray and old and you're sad in your life, who are you going to blame? Men or yourself?
It's
And
always the
My
man's fault.
blame, my blame man same way. As I
but
must say, man never stay like this and have a good month.
yeah, but let's be fair. If they were being fair to themselves, and this is going to tie in later
Not
on
fair, but honest.
if this is going to tie down later into the topic, but like women to have absurd standards for men. I'm not saying you can't have standards, but some of the things you hear them say is so materialistic and makes no sense. You wonder why they should be. Sometimes you have to wonder why they deserve it, and you ask them, and they say, "Well, oh, they're a good woman." What makes you a good woman? What? Because you're pretty, have big breasts and big ass? Because you speak well? Because you have a degree? That doesn't mean shit. That doesn't mean you're going to raise a kid. It doesn't mean you're going to be a good person. I've seen countless people with accolades be the biggest bitch and biggest piece of shit on this planet. Trust me. So I just think they are lacking self-awareness of what they should be, and instead hold on to the narrative because if they ever came to the realization that they were wrong, well, therapy wouldn't be going out of money anytime soon. That's all I can say. But yeah, that's my piece.
So Rajiv Bradshaw,
Honestly, that basically is everything I'm gonna say because there is a point for it, but when I take it too far, it makes no sense. None. Like I think I got in a tell about the female was if somebody CPR one, I don't remember exactly. Like that's taking it too far. You get me? Like come here go say a female a choke and I go ask her for permission. I go ask oh
Oh
miss,
yeah,
can
that.
I give can I have her pay your permission to save her life? Like really? I don't make sense.
Not,
You get me?
I
Like
won't lie.
if them take it too far, it don't make no sense. Legit makes no sense.
No, but like, how are you supposed to be on your deathbed and someone resuscitates you back to life, and you're going to say that's rape? So when actual rape happens, what do they think happens then? I mean, they do realize that the side effects of false accusations tend to not look good for people who actually get raped.
But them now look on that. Them now look on the problem actually happens. Take a look back on them. They're more not think about themselves at the moment. They're not think about nobody else.
But yeah, you're right, though, Rajiv, you're right.
It's stupid. Like it will, in my view, it's stupid. Like it's just stupid. When they take it too far, it's stupid. When it's for a good cause, then fine. But yeah, over the thing, it's stupid and in a sense, and it will make the whole movement lose value. People are gonna look on it and start laugh and say, "Yo, a joke," because the simplest of things gonna go all over when I need it. Yeah, me.
true. All right. So next, I want you guys to think about this. How feminism has changed the gender roles in the household. So like feminism is saying that anything a man can do, a woman can do better.
Yeah, sure.
Oh God, I was gonna say something about that, but I'm trying to word it in a way that doesn't cause too much controversy.
Oh no, we're here for it.
I
Trust
mean,
me.
you already
No,
start,
but
you already start
so I
bad
don't just
already.
want to
I'm
like
just
go down a
saying.
rabbit hole. I just want to kind of stay on track.
Honestly, though, Dario, honestly, there are things that a man can do that a female can do. But there's one thing that a female can
Oh,
do.
let
Female
me
can't,
let
a
let
female
me just
cannot raise
say this after
their
Rajiv
son,
finish.
meaning the son already need a father figure in their mind. Them already need a father figure in their mind. If you as a female raise your son in a certain way, and then go to the society and act a certain way, you don't be surprised. Because so you raise it. So you might need a father figure. If a real father, your stepfather, your boyfriend, whatever, you might need a father. You might need a father figure, an uncle, a bigger cousin, whatever the case may be. You get me? So that's one thing when me feel say a female quote unquote can do better than a
Okay.
I just want to say before we give our actual definitive thoughts that aren't too controversial that the thought that a woman can do everything a man can do but better is the reason why people tend to think they should become transgender for almost any reason. Because
So repeat.
no, I tend to think that anytime I hear women say that they can do anything a man can do but better, I tend to see that as one of the definitive points for most to become transgender to an extent because they're of the belief that they are also fighting for equality. But let's be fair, we've read through the bullshit. We see through it. We see that you're only in it for some secretive validation that, truth be told, you're never going to get. And let's be fair, if Titanic has taught us anything, well, we all know how that story ended now, didn't we? But I just think women should be careful with the way they say they can do every job a man can do, because I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. All right. So like, and it was the narrative that I said. Say it within the relationship. They're thinking that uh they can do whatever the man does. What I'm saying, we're not talking about like single people getting together. Like within the relationship, within the marriage, within a partnership, whatever. Like so, and this is something I got from a black feminist, goddess Ayana, I think on Facebook. She kind of, I like just like the way that she worded it.
Hmm.
But like, so what's the point of having the man then? There was another young lady who was speaking about feminism, and she was like, okay, so fine. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if she's ever watched Kevin Samuels, but like she kind of she kind of repeated something that he said when she was attacking feminists and the feminist ideologies. It's like if you are so independent, like then wouldn't that mean that you want a man that's dependent? But these same women who are super independent, if they get a man who's dependent, then they complain and come back to the saying niggas ain't shit. And again, it's you just like a walking contradiction because you believe one thing, yet you're living something else. And sometimes it's like you yourself don't realize, or they themselves don't realize the back and forth or the non. We can just say nonsense that's coming out of their mouth. And
So,
people,
Tony and hand is raised.
Oh, Tony, go ahead. Just saw your hand.
I'm just saying, as in regards to that, that a lot of females tend to say that, okay, feminist, and that they can do everything that a man can, but at the same time, it's the same females coming back and saying that, oh, I want to be spoiled by a guy, I want to buy me this, I want him to buy me that,
Exactly.
I want to do this, I want him to do that, but at the same time, they want to be all independent and strong. And if I myself, I can do that. So it's very confusing. Make up your mind.
It's
It's
called
either
picking
you
a
want to,
struggle. It's called
yeah,
picking a struggle and stick to it. That's the
yeah,
problem.
what you really want. Because you can't be saying to a guy that, look, I want you to be doing all of this. Well, at the end of the day, when he doesn't do it, or he starts doing it, you start seeing something else. Or if he's doing it when something happens and he goes wrong or he makes a mistake, I can do this all by myself. I don't need you. The same things that you're doing, I can do for myself. Then if that's the case, why you never do it in the first place? Why you even bother stress out the nigga who said when he could have done it himself? And then they're
But
like, okay,
because
so
their ideals only count when it's necessary to them. You get me?
it
There
So
you
doesn't
go.
make
when
any
them
sense.
is to them in account.
To me, it really doesn't make any sense because, alright, you can say you can do everything to help yourself. Yes, there are females that are well equipped. Them learn to multitask, the tomboy them when you say them can fix one tire and this. But then you have the girl, but then you go like girl with the tire nails and everything, and you have a car, your tire punch and all that, and the same man where you tell say you don't need nothing from him man, you can do everything for yourself and whatever. At the same man, you have to get up on a call and say, hey, you know, some friend tell me to come help me fix my tire,
I just carry
and,
number one
and
tour
you make
company, tour company.
and they make certain comments and they're not thinking about what they're saying until they reach in one situation. And then this thing about all niggas are the same. Look here, me totally disagree with that because there is no nigga that is the same. That there is no guy that is actually the same. Because sometimes it's based on how we deal with them. Some of we feel like we're nice and we're cute and we're sweet but a lot of the times we're the ones that are actually toxic. Because we put out some attitudes and some behaviors and we do some things a lot of times. When not even realizing we do them, I will not own up to what we are actually doing wrong. You can't be in a number of relationships and a certain amount of things keep on happening at the same thing keeps on happening in every relationship and you keep on saying that niggas in cheap. Well, if you keep on have the same problem with each relationship, it's clear that you are the problem. So if you are the problem, do something about yourself so that when you meet the next guy, you can actually see who is actually is and stop pretending and go like say, no money, I'm perfect. Nobody can read nobody mind because if that was the case, I'm sure enough people long time and think and think if I could, but you can't read a person's mind. So a lot of times you have to actually talk and explain to the next person, let them know, so look, this is what I want, this is what I see things, and stop expect to say, oh, because I'm female and because I have the right to do this, and because I can get somebody else or whatever, you're going to use it as an excuse to get out of certain situation or don't grade a person become a man feel less than a man. Then when he act less than a man, no, we also have a problem with that because they're going to say he's immature and he's childish and he's this and he's that. Well, you're the same person that broke him down and put him down to that level because when he was behaving mature and acting like the man that he should be, we say we don't want that version of it. So that's my opinion.
But just all of this have come from a female.
That's why she's our friend.
and then no female like agree with her, you know, because it's,
No,
it
but
it goes against everything that they say. Yeah.
like we always say, feminism for most is only feminism when it is beneficial. I tell us everybody,
Exactly.
oh, a youth, when we meet today, the man say, oh, everybody is a chopper in their own right, you know. And I look upon that and I say, yo, you know, say, the youth are onto something. Everybody is a chopper, yes, guy. Everybody are trying to hustle and benefit for something in a some way. So,
Yep.
they are trying to
Like,
benefit
I mean,
emotionally,
I
financially,
get
and all
that.
of
Like I would say this, like even though feminism nowadays it like feminism isn't just feminism anymore. Like like the term feminism has become so financially savvy now. Like people literally call themselves feminists and don't know what it means to be one. Like the genuine meaning of what they say they are.
Like even in the 90s and early 2000s. Sorry for cut, but
Yes.
just to add to the point, there was a time where women would like if they got hurt by a man, not even like abuse or anything, like just heartbroken, and they were just trying to become lesbians and identified as feminists just because they hate men, but never really cared about other feminist ideologies.
Yeah. Just like and I'll say this, just like you have people who just vote for vote's sake, them not really care who it is. Them just vote for voting sake. You have people like, for instance, the last time I heard there was this push for this platonic lesbian couple thing. This was something that, you know, women saying, you know, you might not be a lesbian by choice, but just your disdain for men should be reason enough to fight back your God-given urges to want a man. So feminism in that regard is ridiculous, if not delusional, because I will say something, and even though I'm not trying to follow down Dario's controversial path, but if you really hate men that much, why do the toys resemble the man's?
Genitals.
You understand me? Why do every toy somehow resembles the shaft? Somehow. If you hate him so much, why? Well, I'm just curious. Like, so how the way some of them talk, how the way them hate men, how the disdain, the disgust, the utter repulse. Why? Then why would you want a toy that resembles his member? I don't get that. If you're so feminist, why do you? Oh, okay. Again, I may be wrong, but make it make sense. I can't read that, sir.
Preach.
There you go. But
it. Bradshaw
That's
speaking facts.
speaking.
but no, I mean, all right. This is not me
But
just because we feel like we want to throw whoever, whatever. But I mean that was something that from a very young age, when I was a teenager, like when feminism was brought to my attention, like they were like what was I was like 19, the first time I ever heard of it, and it wasn't the first wave feminism, it wasn't the second wave. Yeah, it was the second going third wave feminism. Second wave where men like me were monsters because of my structure and my overall testosterone levels, like, and I'm like, but I didn't ask to be created the way I am. Make it make sense. And then the argument sways all over the place. History on how man used to beat woman and this and that. And I'm like, but yeah, I grew up in the ghetto, like the poor of the poor. And be honest with you, I'm not saying men didn't beat their women, but it wasn't as rampant as how you describe it. You know, I mean, like I said, I didn't say it didn't happen, but it wasn't like every day somebody I get beaten. It wasn't like that. You know, it wasn't every week somebody beat up people. It wasn't like that. You understand me? It wasn't
Yeah,
like that.
like
So, no, it
I mean,
wasn't.
as a kid, they made it sound like really bad. I would think that
Yeah, they did.
like
They really did.
everywhere.
Oh my God!
I mean,
And then
what?
me. Oh, sorry. You saying something?
No, I was just saying that y'all remember the situation with Chris Brown and Rihanna. Let me
Mm-hmm.
just make it clear. I'm not defending Chris Brown. Yes, he may be wrong. He was wrong. But
Yes.
are you going to really look at me and tell me that Rihanna did not push his button that night? You're going to look at me and say, "Oh, Chris Brown just decided, to say, bitch, I'm gonna slap the shit out of you." Really?
One moment, one moment, one moment. You see, as in regards to the comment that you said, push the button, I will be a bit careful with the statement as in regards to saying push the button because as a female, I'm just saying, when I say as in regards to a guy reacting in the way that Chris Brown did, saying push the button, like saying that she legit got up and caused him put him on her. Yes, I get that sometimes we can overdo it
But
and
she didn't
we can be
aggressive, but
really
she was
provoking.
abusive as well.
Yeah, I understand what you
And
mean, but
nobody not talk about that. No, I'm saying she was abusive to him as well. How much people know that?
I knew
How
that.
much people know saying legit
I
she
knew
knew
that.
that she
Fir-
did beat him as
First
well.
of
She's
all,
too
oi,
sadistic.
oi,
She's a
Then in
sadist.
a
gentlemen,
toxic relationship,
She's
gentlemen
a
how much
and
people
sadist.
lady.
know that?
She's
First
a
of all,
sadist.
yo,
She's a
first of all,
sadist. She's saying her own
you see
music
from
multiple
you,
times.
oi, guys, you see from Johnny Depp literally had receipts of Amber Heard abusing him, and the world was silent. I said, you know what is true, and this is going to be the second controversial take after what Dario said in the beginning. Fuck feminism, because if you can look for me and tell me, say a man can there get boxed up, slap with glass and all sort of sitting and still nobody no say, oh, there's nothing wrong with that. And this woman went as far as to be at a feminist rally and they supported her. And you expect me to support your dumbass cause? I would rather eat salt for the rest of my life and dead than ever be caught doing that.
Calm
Oh,
down.
Yes,
yeah.
Take a sip
There's
of your
multiple
water, sir.
examples of.
Take a sip of your water. Calm down. Calm down.
He needs a
Uh,
Snickers.
I mean, I get it. He may express it a bit, passionately, but we all understand where he's coming from. You understand me? Um, the the social unbalance, it is quite prevalent now. People act as if like oh, men are just overreacting, and feminism is only here to balance out and make women feel empowered. And have you watched any of the feminist like advertisements that are shown on television? Have you ever really, let's say not television, internet? Have you seen some of the advertisements where this one is telling young women, that this is the time that you stand up, time to fight the patriarchy. If you want a raise and your boss is not giving you what you want, you should march in there, climb up on the desk, and kick. And I was like, nobody's that. But then I stopped and then I had to take back my own words. This is the world, people. Whether we want to admit it or not everyone is level-headed. Hell, Trump made a joke, and him gone. I'm not caring, but he made a joke. Tell people say them to think about drinking bleach for the coronavirus, and people, a good handful,
And
actually
eating
tried
Tide Pods.
bleach, yeah, and eating Tide Pods, and it was ridiculous. I was like, what the, and people were like, oh, he shouldn't have, and I'm like, at first I was like, oh, it's
And
their
be
fault.
like,
This devil knows what. But then I really, looked at the full scope of the situation. Yeah, you're supposed to know what kind of people you deal with. We're talking about people who,
they had a lick the toilet challenge.
yes, and grown men and grown women licked a toilet seat.
Like not their own toilet seats, like random public toilets. Hold on, Tony, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I was just about to allude to that.
Wait. You're saying that person's actually stupid enough? But all right, never mind.
It
You
was
want, you want
it was a
just
it was a
feel
TikTok challenge, I
happy.
believe, a TikTok challenge. It
Yep,
was a TikTok
it's
I
challenge.
very
think it
safe.
was still on Facebook. I don't think TikTok was popular at the time. Like a few
Mhm.
months later, TikTok get popular.
And I was like,
Okay, you want to so traumatize me right now. Anyways, I was trying to say
welcome
that
to the world. Welcome to the world.
when it comes, I try my best to distance myself from the world as much as possible because it ain't for me. I wasn't built for it.
I ain't for the
I'm
world, I ain't for
way,
the streets.
I'm way too. Me didn't make too different for the world, so I am not
I'm
for it.
afraid.
Beautiful.
But however, as it regards to a lot of those advertisements, imagine you have like a teenager just coming up but they don't understand the world, say about 13, 14. You know, at that age you're trying to figure out who you are. You just see some things and you experiment and you wonder what is this about, what is that about, and
Mhm.
you have like a friend that so influenced that they have family members that are so
Mhm.
into feminism and teenage pressure and all of them stuff they're going. So you don't fully understand and you see something like that and they grow up with having certain things in their intentions and their mind, not fully understanding what it really means.
Mhm.
As Andrea mentioned earlier about the advertisement, if I'm a certain age and I see an advertisement like that, climb up on the dates, demand all of them something there. Like basically you tell me say, but just go in, but up my boss because him decide say him can't pay me all the extra money and if I go in there and body him up and when the police come to me come lock me up, why the same people them they were did I tell me if I go in there
No,
go
you're
body
gonna
him up?
go on the news and say that you're being oppressed and they're misogynistic and they
Yes.
are horrible towards women and
Yes.
you have rights and you are
Yes.
entitled and
Yes.
you
And then
should get this and they are bad because they're men
no,
Alright.
no,
because
no.
patriarchy.
Hold on. And here's the icing on the cake. And then you do a GoFundMe, and then you'll have people who don't understand exactly what truly happened, why you get the situation you got into, and they're going to chastise the man's company, find ways to shut this man's business down, utterly destroy this man's life.
But not only that, what if it's a female boss? What if it's actually a female boss that you have and that person not understanding what level the feminism or the statement or advertisement was at and
Yeah.
actually goes in and do that to a female boss and nothing comes out of it? What do they say after that?
You can
How
probably
does
do the same thing.
where it goes from there?
You
Because
can
that
possibly do the
feminism on
exact
top
same
of
thing that you do to a
feminism,
man.
yeah, but it's feminism over feminism because that's a female dealing with a female.
No, feminism is just to suit you, like how they you how or how, rather how it is used. You just use it just to suit yourself,
Yeah, I do
not
understand, but
necessarily to
it's
suit women.
yeah, but in the context, they're going to use the female aspect of it to justify. They want to go from that side to say because I'm a female, you chose to pay me less because I'm a female, or because I have to take a leave to have a baby, or because I have to take a leave, or I have to leave to go and pick up my kid from school or something. They're going to want to use that aspect of it So I'm saying when the roles are reversed and you're stuck in a position where they have a
Okay,
female
okay.
but that goes
There's an
through.
actual positive side. So yeah, there needs to be a balance because I mean, what feminism is supposed to represent is for things like that, like a proper length of time for maternity leave. Um,
Feminism isn't about.
no discrimination.
What was that, Berger?
I was saying feminism has worked what should have been one of the greatest accomplishments womankind has ever achieved.
Yeah,
Yeah? Feminism was supposed to be a beacon, a shining beacon for all young girls, all grown women, and all of the older women to say this is what we laid the foundation that you as young women have options. You have the
yeah. So you
option.
can like function in society.
You understand me? And now it's been warped and corrupted so bad. Feminism is teaching women the opposite of everything that they. There are women nowadays that are miserable in their high-paying careers because they're going against their nature. And I know it's controversial to say such words, but it's the truth. There are more women that are more degrees now that are miserable. Women that are aspiring to like the heights of the heights, and most of them are miserable. Some of them are taking psych meds. Like this isn't what feminism was
It's
supposed to
higher
be,
with black women.
especially for black women. Because black women became the most susceptible of all of the women them because every
All
other
right,
race of women.
something was pointed out, and several people actually realize this. Um, if you go into a white family, Hispanic, or just a non-black family for the most part, if the wife is in a position where she's making more money than the husband still gets respect.
And it's weird. I'm sorry for
Yeah,
cutting down.
but in the black, as I know what you're gonna say, in the black, it's
Mhm.
totally
A-
different.
anything goes. Broke ass nigga, you can't take care of me.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm. I know
I'm
that
not
it's
talking
like,
about some deadbeat niggas or not like that, like a
hold
man who's just actually working, but he's making 100,000, she's making 1 million.
on. Um, honestly, I will say this about that. Um, I even though I don't want to put this all on social media, but a good percentage of this mindset started with the sitcoms that we watched, how they slowly but surely change the perception of men and how women look at men. And I know people look at me and say I'm losing my mind, but I was young enough to read in between the lines, like respect. When it came to like television fathers, this was where it started to go downhill in the 90s. The television father was clumsy, idiot, stupid. Him slow to the conversation. He's a complete. You understand what I'm trying to say? The
Yeah.
disregard for men was from in the 90s. And on the same breath, you had shows that were being pushed with feminist ideologies were saying women are the this and men are the that. Men are what's causing you to not achieve what you want. And the men are just standing there like, who said that? Like, who said that? And this is the part we throw enough women off because for those who do break the feminist delusional trap, when they finally realize how much of their lives they've wasted hating men. Do you know many women I've met who eventually said, I used to be a feminist. And it took her a few years, but she realized how much of her life she wasted believing women who chose to be combative, argumentative, disrespectful, inconsiderate, everything that's nasty you could possibly think towards another human being. and then they're feeding this poison to young innocent people who have never interacted with anyone. Yo, I feel no way now. When me and Kevin Samuels, when I tell you, my heart hurt me too, you know. I'm a human being, and people. For those who are watching this podcast or who will watch this podcast, I am a human being too. Do you think I listen to certain things and I hear that women who have unfairly been raised do not understand that we need each other? And I know, like, I'm getting a bit emotional because I see this and it really bothers me because some women get them shot of getting a good man and then blow it. But just to get your ego is so bruised that you can't say, you know, you know what? I take full responsibility. I made a mistake. God gave me multiple, or gave me a few good men, and I chose to walk away from them all. But instead, you double down on your ego and poison. You poison the kids, you poison your daughters, you poison your sons. Because of what? It bothers me. I mean, like, it really bothers me. I'm just,
I think just a moment. I actually think that this feminism thing is also corrupted because you have the persons in front of the camera that are saying, "Hey, don't do this. Hey, do that. You should stand up for your rights, and you shouldn't let anybody walk over. You should make sure that you make all the money and pay all your bills and you." There's a lot of things that they're saying in front of the camera. However, it's the same person that at the end of the day, they're doing the complete opposite.
going home to their husbands, being actual
When they
wives,
go home, they still,
cooking and cleaning, all
yes,
that.
it's so they're making dinner special requests for their husbands and all of those things while they're putting something else out there. So for the younger minds, they're just corrupting the younger persons and they're doing the complete opposite, which is very hypocritical. And also as it the aspect of when it comes on to a few black women that makes more money than a man, I do understand why some of them get defensive and stay single or they might have an issue with relationship because you guys might not see this or you guys might not view it the same way, but you do have guys or black guys that decide that if a woman is making more money than him, he doesn't want her. He doesn't want anything to do with her because she'll make more money than him. Even if the female is submissive, even if she's willing to make sacrifices for him, even if she's a good person and she actually goes out of her way and try. A lot of the times, some of those same guys they try to misuse those females, and I've actually seen that for myself. So yes, I do understand that some of the females, especially black females, overdo it because them are gonna downgrade some of the man them, but in some situations, for it to reach that level with some females, a lot of them have been with some guys that misuse them because of the fact that they make more money. So in their defense, sometimes when they actually do find a good guy that is willing to be there, willing to work with them and partner up, they don't even realize it because they're expecting that same guy to come and do the same things that the guy before did. So a lot of times they're afraid.
Yeah, it's just trauma.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of times they're just it's just their defense system. Because really, honestly, I've heard guys say them no want a woman to make more money than them. And if them have a woman to make more money than them gonna name them out same like oh he shut down the road did name them out when they have one little money in their pocket. And Susan run the road in Yam them also. Then get one little girl up the road now, uptown where she'll make one little money and thing and thing and thing. So I'm gonna get a car off her, I'm gonna get this off her, I'm gonna brag to her friend them, in friend them, and when he be in front time friend them and she did it in disrespect her and deal with her certain type of way. And at the end of the day, she's stressed out and she's tired and she a ball every minute. And when she do this type to end the relationship and things, fix up herself and move on, and she finds somebody that actually will accept everything, accept that
Mhm.
yes, she's a good person. She's actually making more money
As
than
in, I have a friend like that. Like
And make she
the
finish what
guy
she
she
has
was
to
with
say.
before him,
And make she finish.
she bought him a car.
The way.
What? Sorry, you were talking?
I
I
thought she
didn't
was
finish.
making a point. I thought she was. I wanted her to finish. But all right, fine.
Oh, sorry.
I thought she. I thought
No,
she was building up to a point. So I was invested in what she was saying. So you just
continue.
cut her off. I was like, what the hell?
So you want to go? Because I can wait.
Yes,
all
please.
right. I was basically getting
Mhm.
to is that you can't sit on one side because really and honestly, as a female, if you already have to struggle to be up in a career, like especially in one of them big career the way you have to fight for reach up at the top,
Mhm.
you don't fight for reach up at the top, you make all of the sacrifice them, you reach up there, you start see it appear financially. You actually say, alright, it's time to build a relationship. You
Mhm.
try that and it coming like the whole fact that you actually push to reach up at the top, it no make no sense. And for you finally build back your self-esteem, your confidence and everything for saying, yes, I have made it this far. I need to feel proud of myself and not let anyone come in and let me feel bad about what I have achieved to get back to that level and then someone else come back and come in and they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, I might say that you're trying to love me, but the simplest thing is going to trigger them because they get defensive because they're saying, I don't want to go back to the level that I once was, where I felt like all of my hard work was for nothing. So, as in regards to a lot of the females, when in regards to having more money and then becoming defensive, that's how I see it with some because I've actually seen it happen in more than one occasion. So it's more than one way to look at it. I don't know that black woman is here. We had not really set down right more well, and we might not think, but when you look at it from that point of view, I think it's better to understand, even though some just overdo it. But that's basically my point that I was trying to bring across as regards to that.
Uh-huh.
So, Rocha, you had something to add to it or no?
Yes. Use my sister. She's a prime example. Well, all right. He- this is my take on how what was said, right? Um, if you're going into a career that demands you to be competitive, first understand what you are willing to sacrifice to reach where you want to go. A lot of people get involved in careers, jobs, and don't understand that the further you push in certain forms of employment, you are losing something while you're doing this. And I'll say this much because I've met people firsthand. I've met a few female bosses who've made it way up the ladder. And if you hear them talk, it sounds as if you're talking to a grown ass man. Not an ounce of femininity
Mm.
left in her. And I know it affects her because she knows it's a problem. Because one day I was working and she sparked up a conversation, and then out of blue, she was like, she knows isn't what she used to be. She knows that the more she competed for the jobs and the titles and the awards, she lost more and more of herself. You understand me? Like I said, I'm not saying you can't compete and ascend to greatness, but this is the thing that most women weren't told would happen. You lose something for those of you who've ever watched Full Metal Alchemist,
Yep.
it's an anime, right? they have what they call a
equivalent
law.
exchange.
Yeah, of
For, ev-
equivalent
for
exchange.
everything, for everything there must be something given to gain
Of
something.
equal value.
Yeah.
Equal value. To me, and I've said this to my wife, a woman's femininity is her superpower. When a job and a career strips that away from her, she's seen as one of the boys to most men. And again, I'm not saying that you can't be with her, but most men, most men will look at her achievements and her valor and all of that and say, good for you, honey. Good for you. Because we're genuinely happy for her. But she isn't what he wants.
Two
And I'm not
birds can't
saying
read in one pin,
exactly. And
as we
women
say
will
in Jamaica.
and some women will hear what I'm saying and take it the wrong way at first. I
Yep.
am not saying this just to be an asshole or I'm trying to be misogynistic, but men are simple creatures. We are simple creatures. And you can ask my wife this, but from the first couple of years I've met her, I ask her, do you wear makeup? And she says no. And I'm like, good. I prefer you that way. If you think I'm lying, you can ask her yourself. And this is before Kevin Samuels. You know, the only thing, the only drawback that, and I ask her, she's right here. I don't like tattoos, even though I am not a fan of tattoos. I will never put a tattoo on my skin. I don't. I just don't. No matter how much my body will be back in shape and I'll be fit and while my chest big, I will never put a tattoo on my skin. That's just me. I love my mother, I love my father, I love my children. Nobody, no name, no ink, nothing ever touch my skin like that. It's my temple, you understand me? And to every man, every woman, their own. More power to them. You understand me? But certain things, you, life is about trade-offs. And I know people don't like hear that word. But as a man, I learned this from a very early age. Like a very early age. You understand me? My father sat me down and explained life to me as a boy at age 12. He's like, Andre, no matter what you know, you have to learn at school, you know. I'm a bend up my face and then look for me and say, oh, look for me. Then I turn and face him. The man say, yo, your name must give. You see your sister them? Them have something between them legs. That will a man will come and pick them up and bring them, go live them somewhere nice and comfortable. Them name must get. Yeah? Woman name must get, man name must give. From a very early age, him said that in my head to forever remind me where I am, society expectations of me. At age 12, I learned that lesson very well. And again, that's how me look on things. You
All
know.
right. So I wanted to point this out. Especially since we're doing feminism today, we'll have to kind of look at some of these points from the other side of the spectrum. Because like some traits that females pick up, it was really just a defense mechanism or coping mechanism or evolutionary mechanism from a lack of male figures being present. Like even like especially in the black community, with a lot of women being, as we would say, more masculine or just losing their femininity. That is as a result of them having to be more stoic and more stern or harder to go through life without a father figure or any form of male figure in their life. So we'll have to remember these points because we'll have to go again from the other side of the spectrum and critique the men as well, critique us men. So
No
go in
problem.
and pay attention.
No problem.
That's why you're here. Need to cuss us out. We can't just pick on your kind.
No,
Please
second.
go to the next question. Do you think feminism is teaching to hate men as opposed to love yourself as a woman, or is to support women, or rather modern day feminism?
Can I go
Go.
or
Yeah, yeah,
anybody? And
you
then,
can
and
go.
then
I mean,
That's all.
if you want to go first, that's
yeah,
fine.
and then yeah. I was just saying. All right, let me set the stage. Um, Feminism has hit a plateau. So when they hit their plateau, they started grasping for straws. It moved from the men are, the problem to all out hatred and, destruction of the patriarchy, tear down the patriarchy. And I'm like, if the
The world would
patriarchy
shut down.
was to fall, well, again, but if the patriarchy was to fall, you would all start dying instantly. You'd start dying if the light them for cut off, if the water for you understand me? And then to hear people jump up and defend this. Yes, you're just hating on these women. Men made the divorce laws that cripple them in a society. And I wonder if society, women have forgotten that. It's not women who made divorce court against men. It was men who did that. We shot ourselves in the foot on purpose, woman. And then when I hear someone misguided, I can look upon a young girl who knows no better and tell her, say, men hate, is men fighting you. Men are the reasons why you don't become what you want to become in a life. That is sickening. That's a sickening way to look upon life.
And
Oh my God. I
uh,
remember, and hold on, you need to understand something. In colleges up here, this is fed to young black girls. Michael, the professors that teach my pitney or many other people's children when they reach college, that this is a part of the curriculum. It's mandated in the curriculum for some of them, for some of these universities up here. So after a while, if me and my wife are not on our purpose, well, me for my purpose, my wife as you understand, if we
yeah,
aren't doing the dang thing and have to re-educate Pitney when she go to college, or make sure the foundation has been set correctly from here, so we're going to
yeah,
face hell. We're going to face hell. When she come home and I tell and I, oh, we should donate everything to the women's rights groups and what?
not
Your mother and I built this, like all of this. Like
Tell her to donate everything that she owns.
she doesn't know jack. Everything she earned, well, and
Exactly.
everything she own will be of some, and then this is a nonsense to what feminism push it about hate men. And then if she even becomes successful in life, they will say this, and this is the stupidest. They will say to her, even though you have become successful, you haven't truly achieved all the things that you are supposed to achieve, just because your father is a man.
wow.
I heard
Yes,
that one. Yeah, I heard that.
yes, and I
I
and I
remember,
and
I remember hearing it, and I think I know where I heard it from.
so not so it's not even that she can't become what she wants to become, but just off of the strength that I, her father, worked hard and put her through school and make
Mm,
sure so she never want anything.
mm.
I somehow have limited my daughter from achieving even
I've
more.
oppressed her.
Yes, yeah, yes, I've oppressed her from becoming. Oh my God.
Our own father up.
Yes, yes. And I know for us it sounds funny, but
No,
and
it's not funny.
I
It's dumb.
know it's
It
really
is.
offensive. It really
It's
make my
horrible.
blood boil if you hear this crap. Just saying.
I know. I know. If I know if I add to this, it doesn't even just extend to our reality. It extends to almost every medium that you could think.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know this is a bit off topic, but anybody ever take a notice and like read into the backstory of what the Amazons were, as in not just the Wonder Woman story, but just overall the Amazons. One of people remember say, yo, the reason why half of them pick them on are rape the woman and rape the man them.
And
People
one,
te- people
they
tend to
got
leave
pregnant, they
that
killed
out.
them and throw them out.
Exactly, exactly. People
Mm-hmm.
tend to leave that out. And
Yeah.
then I remember
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of Call of Duty, but I remember the feminist groups came up, and because there was this no, it wasn't Call of Duty, Battlefield, the new one, was saying they were so surprised that there was a female lead character in this World War, and I was like, why is there a female antagonist when females had little to no part in the major happenings of this war?
I
The lit-
mean, I mean,
I
I
mean,
get what you're
they had a part, you know. I'm not saying they didn't have a part, but
saying.
the narrative that was being pushed, Bradshaw, you could see blatantly that it was all women fought equally alongside the men in the World War, and I'm
No,
like,
they no, they didn't.
like
I believe me. I've read that. So I've read that part of history at least 3 times. The World War One and Two.
yeah.
Women,
Here's the thing,
women's
Bradshaw.
role was. Hmm?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, here's the thing. Even if you've never read it, seeing just hearing the World War, the first thought that's going to come to your mind is like, that's Germany, the entire world.
Yeah.
Women are going to be at the back of your mind when it comes to speaking
Yeah.
about world, bloody war.
Yeah.
But yet still, you have these quota, and for lack of a better term, pussies in the game development who think they are slick enough to put these narratives in their games and think that most people won't see through the bullshit. And I am indifferent to media portraying feminism in their shows because so
Thundering,
they
thundering,
they
thundering.
they don't do
And
it they don't do it smartly, and they don't do it in a way that you think, yes, it's fulfilling.
yo, telling you, Martel. All right, even though I don't want to really go back to Martel,
You know, I was gonna sit and I didn't bother.
even though I
I
really
honestly was gonna sit
tried,
and didn't bother because I didn't want to get them
Hey,
started.
I
wait,
really didn't
wait,
want to go back
wait,
there. Just
wait,
saying.
wait. Let me say this first. Discretion. The words you might hear are of very violent and vulgar content because most of us
Passionately violent.
realize that that movie is utter trash underneath our boots.
Thank you. It
Go
hurt.
ahead, Bradshaw. I haven't watched it yet though.
Don't. Do not. Save yourself the
I
trouble.
Sir,
won't.
sir. Outworld, apart from that CGI something of Shokan, it's literally Sahara Desert. Like, it's a desert. That's it. Outworld from the original Mortal Kombat looked like Outworld. The first one, the very first one, where Shang Tsung, like that first Mortal, mwah, masterpiece. This one, not even close. But all right, this is not about that. I said that I was talking about that to say this: the amount of PC nonsense and fan service when it came to the women in that movie was astronomical. It was ridiculous to me because for those who were like, "Oh, the girl who acted as Melina was so cool," and I mean, she played the role well. She did her thing, but my problem was why almost half of the time, if not 3/4 of the time, she was on the film, her ass was always in the shot. Like, this was only the black girl. Like this was only her. Like, and I'm like, why? And Mark, and make sure say it's not like the camera angle. You just see little cheeks to the corner. No, her cheeks were like right there than everybody else that walked beside her. So you see fear cakes and then everybody else. I'm like,
And it's not even like she's slim. She's slim thick. So you can't miss it.
Caked up and caked out.
you understand me? So even my wife noticed that she was on the thicker side. And I'm like, wow, hey, am I the only one that's offended here?
You would say.
I'm a dude. I'm a dude. And don't get me wrong, as a man, visually, it was appealing. But
Afterwards, when you
culture
realize.
offended as a man. I was offended from my black sisters. I'm like, I'm offended. Am I the only one that is offended by this? And I'm like, okay. And how Melina died was such trash writing. Like it stunk so bad. This girl is the one that was jumping through the portals. No, she opened her mouth, her jaw was like,
Spoiler alert, people.
again, when I got that deep. But anyways, she died.
Can't compare to how they kill off Congo. Still upset.
Oh my God, sir.
Still upset. Still upset. Me never want to bring it up, but just the fact that you bring up Melina, brother man. You see if the man even just make the man neck get snapped, I would have been fine. But no, we can't have original quality of what actually happened. No, let's give him a death where he sacrifices himself against someone he can beat. Yes, that makes so much more sense.
No, he didn't sacrifice himself, sir. Shang Tsung literally did Scorpions. Get over here without the tool of the trade. Cause all him done is stretch out him hand. And I've played Mortal Kombat for years. I've never seen Shang Tsung. But again, this is not about the movie.
Guys.
Because if we need listen to me. We need to dedicate an episode scrutinizing and dissecting this movie.
Okay, I haven't watched it, so I will just moderate and listen.
I'm going. No, Dowie, listen to me. When I watched it, sir, I was trying to be blinded by my love for Mortal Kombat. You know what I just say? I purposely tried to be blind. When it sunk in, when the movie done, and my wife was like, it was okay, right? And I'm like, yeah, it was okay. And I'm like, wait a minute. I just watched a Mortal Kombat after 27 years. This is the best them could I give me. And then I took my time and I literally rewatched the movie in my head. Oh my God, I saw everything wrong.
You picked it apart.
Oh my God, I could see everything wrong with the movie. And then I was like, then the reality starts sinking. I'm like, oh my God, this is trash. Oh my God,
Wait, is Tony still online?
Oh my God, this is trash.
Let's not go into the movie. Let us go to the next heart that's in the room.
Yeah.
Namely, that Sonya Blade bullshit. Yeah, let's go to that fracture. Because
hey.
Sir,
we're going down the hole for too far now. Let's surface.
Let me say one thing before for those of you out there, if you're a true Mortal Kombat fan, watch it for yourself. Be your own judge. Mark you, some of you will watch it and probably know you might watch it and go, I liked it. Because I know people who supposed to know better who said they liked it. So again, personally, for you who like it, good for you. Kudos for those of you who actually like it. But for those who actually follow the mythos, the legend, and for somebody who Somebody whom I know very well, the man who met me and meet my wife, said this on Facebook. Her cousin said this on Facebook to me. Say he liked it. And Mortal Kombat has plenty of different timelines, and I'm like, what? Most of them kind of align with how it normally go. Even when they were doing the whole Raiden getting murdered and everything, that when kill Liu Kang, it was always Liu
Like the
Kang being
various
a man.
timelines are based on one. But hey, we've gone too far now. So
I know, but all right, fine.
moving on. All right, so we
You
kind of
get what
answered this
I'm trying to
question
say.
already.
Oh my,
Um,
I already
we kind of
want to
answered the question like, will feminism stop women from keeping men? But we kind of answered that
yeah.
already, in my opinion.
Yes.
Moving on to second segment,
Mm-hmm.
submission versus control. So,
Insert joke here.
Mm-hmm.
all right, Tony, is still up or just leaving?
I'm here.
Okay,
Yay!
awesome sauce. So this is another question that I had sent out to the young ladies. Um,
Oh, I just before you continue, I had gotten some very
Just speaking on
colorful responses in regards to that
it.
question. So continue.
yeah, yeah. Well, let's go through them because I have I think what 5, 6 replies.
Because
Um,
and also from a woman's perspective, because a lot of women don't understand, because you're a wife, right? And this is nuanced to you, because
who's that, Lynn?
yeah,
That
it's
wife?
her.
Okay, cool, awesome. So yeah, all right. I wanted to actually clarify. So submission.
Mm.
When a man wants a woman to submit, or when it is said that a woman is supposed to submit, wife submit to your husbands in the Bible and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just clarify first of all. Submission does not
Not
mean that you are a
every.
mindless slave or a
Mm-hmm.
mindless drone. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that you're your husband's little punk ass bitch that sucks his
Mm-hmm.
dick, cleans his shoes, and makes him a sandwich when he feels like it.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that with submission, what a lot of people fail to realize, you have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
You must choose a man who you can trust and depend on to lead. You must choose. So, again, like if you're in a toxic relationship with a deadbeat or an abusive dude or somebody who just don't mean you well, which is why I think a couple episodes ago, in a relationship, I said it's a relationship, not rape. And I'm not going, we'll stop with the victim mentality. As crass as this sounds, cut the crap with the victim mentality when you're in a toxic relationship, especially for a long period of time, and you have enough self-esteem or enough common sense to realize that, hey, this is a problem
Mm-hmm.
that needs to be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
You have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
If the man doesn't mean you, like, for argument's sake, let's say, so Bradshaw is the owner, so let's say Bradshaw is the leader of our group on a journey. And let's say, for argument's sake, we are on a boat. Only Doc knows how to sail. Bradshaw knows nothing about sailing. We think, even though he's the captain of the team or leader of the team, he's just going to start barking random orders. No, we will either sink or starve out at sea. That would be stupid. If Doc knows what's going to do, then okay, so for this portion of the journey, Doc, you give the orders. And we'll have to submit to his words or to his rule.
Men have never had that problem, though.
Come again?
And so men have never really had that problem.
No, but
It's a line
just to try. When I put that into it as yet, just hold on. We just kind of want to get the idea. So again, Bradshaw is the captain, But however, doesn't know how to sail, and Doc knows how to sail.
That's true.
So we will have Doc
We know our
in charge of this portion of the journey. So, yo,
Fine.
Doctor, tell us what to do.
He want
Doesn't
this.
mean that Bradshaw has now stepped down or taken or has removed the mantle of the captain as the captain of the team. But for the sake of for the sake of this journey, for the sake of this task, for the sake of this exercise or this problem that we need to solve, person who is qualified, person who we can trust, person who we can depend on is going to take charge. Same thing in your relationship.
Thing is for
As to
and
the person who you can depend on. Yes, go ahead, man.
the thing is for and this might be a bit controversial in a sense, not overly so, but men tend to understand that sometimes it's okay to play the back burner role, especially if you know you're not, the top dog in that field. Because I can allude to this using a rugby analogy. Say for instance, yes, such man is the star playmaker, but he needs the platform from his forwards. He can be egotistical in his mind and say, me run and take all of them tackle it. But the logical thing he will do and will be forced to do is pass to the forwards, build the platform, and win the match. Females, for me, especially when it comes to the word submission, they nuance it to slavery and for all the wrong reasons. And they do this purposely. And any female want to fight upon that?
Well, I push back on that part more purposely. Not entirely. I go and hold on, what is it? What am I saying? What am I saying? I'm sorry, I'm make you finish your point, but really I'm saying, if you've reasoned with majority of them, if you know how to reason, you realize that once you pass the first layer, they really don't have nothing much. That's naivety. The small percentage of one
fair point. I can draw back on that. Fair point.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I can understand that.
Women aren't completely lost. Most of them are actually just naive. They're being taken advantage of.
Hey, we haven't lost faith in them. We haven't lost hope for them.
I know, right?
But
we haven't lost faith.
It's like when you're knocking on the door and you're so close to finding the exit and you just want them to just find the exit. You know the door is right there, but they keep on opening.
Like when a fly is trying to go back through the window.
Oh my God.
It's like you literally have the candy waiting on you to open and you refuse.
I know you're so wrong.
I heard what you said, but I just wanted to talk over it because
good stuff, though. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Good. But enough of my rambling. Tony, you there?
No. I'm still here.
Okay.
Yeah, so again, as the only female on board tonight, picking on you. Your idea or your take on submission or submitting to your male partner.
Okay, I'm not good at submitting.
Yeah.
No good at
Definitely
submitting. I'm not the submissive type. I find it really hard to do because I have a strong personality, and for me personally, I just like having my own way. And I do have this thing about me where I believe that I do not need a man. So I'm toxic in that way. However, I think it's because I do have an issue when it comes down to committing, and I'm not a fan of committing. I'm just a fan of doing whatever I want to do because I can. So when I think about giving up that freedom, it's pushed me to a level of becoming defensive. So I can really like a person, but
can I ask a question?
Go
Can I
ahead.
ask a question?
How many married females do you have in your life as like leading examples, like of what marriage or what a good man is supposed to be, or or
I have
or or a lasting relationship, a healthy one?
I don't have a relationship with my father like that. Um healthy relationships wise, I think I just have one person in that regards.
Hmm.
Like growing up. So I didn't grow up seeing a lot of couples or anything like that. So I grow in a way to believe in relying on myself. Plus with everything else going on in my life, relationships have never really been a thing that I've ever focused on. So relationships are always the last thing on my mind because I have a lot of other things that I have to deal with. So I never saw myself getting into marriage, settling down, having the big family, or having a family. I've never seen that for myself. When every other little girl was planning the tea parties and the dress they wanted to wear and all of that, I was too caught up focusing on other things. So growing up, that was never something that was on the top of my mind.
Question: what did you grow up thinking about at that young an age? Like, this is fascinating for me. Not saying I'm trying to
I
keep you on the spot. It's just that you are like the anomaly. Like you're like the anomaly. Like you are so rare because even in the
That's
ghetto,
beautiful.
even in the ghetto, Penland, where you come from, right? Even the little ghetto girls, even them little girls still thought about marriage, and it was fascinating to hear you tell this because even though they know, I'm not saying they know that they won't, but at a very young age, even though they didn't grow up in households where them see their mother and them father, for the majority, and I think this is biology, like how science claim it's biology for the woman to want a relationship. Right? And them say funny a woman can't describe what a true man looks like, but she can't tell you in words what he is, but she can sure damn well know one when she sees one. And that's out of instinct. Those aren't words. Like them say, she can't explain what he is, but she knows one when she sees one. So, Father, you're saying that, it was weird. Because, I mean, even when you went to school, didn't you see like little girls talking about relationship, marriage? I was fascinated. Like, what was, you know, that consuming that took up most of your innocence like that?
Alright, for me, I've always been different. As I said, I am just not for the world. But alright, I've actually grown around persons that are actually in good relationships, and most relationships that I've been in, like serious relationships, have been long term. But you may not have known this about me, but I grew up sickly. So when everybody was thinking about having the perfect life, getting married, and all that, my thing was, no, this is not for me because I don't want. I was
Okay.
more focused on the elsewise and how what I was going through would affect others in my life because even from a young age, while you're a child and persons don't expect you to notice certain things, I actually did because I'm really in tune with my emotions and feelings and what's going on around me. So I pay attention to details. So I always said I didn't want to grow up and want whatever I was going through to impact or disturb somebody else's life. I wanted to be the person that could be there for myself, could push through, could accept certain things. I didn't want to get into committed relationships and um, at the end of the day, because something is going on with me, they got hurt, they felt a certain type of way, they felt guilty or anything like that. So at no point in time, plus the type of illness that I have, I never see myself having a child because I don't want my child to go through all the things that I went through. I don't didn't want a person to be there to see like, okay, she's going through so much pain and I can't do anything about it. I didn't want anyone to be feeling that type of way for me. So personally, maybe it's a defense mechanism, but I never saw that aspect for myself. It was more career driven, what I wanted to do, what things I wanted to experiment on, and pushing myself to see how far I could go. So I was so focused on pushing my limitations that I never really took the time out to focus on that aspect. Yes, there were persons around me that wanted relationships. They dreamed about how many kids they wanted, the type of life, big house, the type of wedding. And to this day, that's just not my thing. But I do get when people want certain things, and I'm not the female that would say, yes, I have been hurt. Yes, I have been in toxic relationships and all that. But a relationship has never,
My father watch. You alright?
ever broken me to the point where, you had some females crying all night, stressed out for months, weeks. Not,
Mighty
not
God.
me. So, like, I don't break relationship wise because it's not something that I'm that into. Like most females believe that if they're not talking to someone, if they're not in a relationship, they don't feel good. They need for have a man. They need. That is not a problem for me because I already feel
I
like
wish I could call names.
like, I don't need to go through all of that. I don't have a problem at all with being single. People find it hard to believe, and they're like, "Don't you get lonely? Weird."
Yeah.
No,
And
if you
you are listen to me, and I will agree. Let me tell you this: nothing's wrong with wanting to be single. Not everybody marriage is for. And I like the fact that
Kind of Ratcha. Hold on, before you continue. Dario, we're not talking about you. So take that goddamn smirk off your face.
I don't want to be.
sir, you could
Continue,
have wait.
Bradshaw. You just picking on.
Sir, you could have wait. I was going to drop something in the Fedaria, but anywho.
Drop
But
something for me.
all right, but anywho, the point me I try to make is it's perfectly fine, and I hope even though, and I let me add to what she said first. I didn't have a positive role model in terms of marriage. I didn't come to my mother and father being married. Yes, they were common law married, but they weren't married. You understand me? And I didn't see people around me being married. A lot of common laws, a lot of one parent households, not many marriages. But immediately, psychologically, I don't know. Part of me knew I wanted to be married. Don't know where I get the money from. Don't know me I hear that, but I don't know. It came like out of my nature. So I don't know. I knew inside of me that I needed to be married. Weird, right? And again, don't get me
Insight.
wrong, don't get me wrong, it's not like I had, just like you said, I didn't. And she said she grew up around some people married and in good relationship, and I never see that. But again, psychologically, I don't know where it came from, but I knew from a very early age, from say around 14, this was a media Casey, just what, second farmer Casey, the third farmer Casey, third farm. I didn't know from that age that I wasn't going to be comfortable running these streets. Like, yeah, it just wasn't my cup of tea. Sorry, it just wasn't. You understand me? And it was always one woman thing, and the multiple woman thing was never me from day one. But you know, I never get no gratification from rocking up bodies. That that's the
Point,
idea. The
pointless.
idea is yeah, that's the notion was like.
I myself have never seen why it was ever important. I've never seen how
You
it
know, the funny
suits.
thing is, and the
I
funny
don't
thing
see how
is,
it suits the ego because
well, no,
honestly,
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, this is my
Mhm.
bridging them. Talk about how you they have this and that, and at the end of the day, every single night I him see him on a cuss. Oh, how him pocket a bunny man and me with my smart self say yes, because you're a dumbass.
You know, ironically, even when I was going through my my minute whole phase,
When you were being a whore, don't try to downplay
it
this
was
information.
minute.
When you were being a whore, just say that and done and stop beat around the bush.
As
This is
in, I
wrong.
guess it depends. I guess it depends on the individual, but like, I was never a dude to talk to chicks who was broke.
My man.
No, cause like,
Perfect color, no, perfect color, no.
My
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna do that.
Gee.
But like, I never got the idea of like my nigga was like a side man to several dudes, one of the rugby dudes, and I don't see how you're traveling across town to go see this chick, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're putting in all this work on this chick,
Mm-hmm.
and yet she can't even buy you a bag juice.
You put your bags up. She can't even buy your ice cement, you mean?
Like
Oh,
not like she's not giving you back bus fare. No. You have to get your bus fare to go and come.
I'll
But
do.
she's not gonna give you food. She's not gonna
Mm-hmm.
cook for you.
Yes, that's true.
Not even a bag. Like for those of you overseas,
Sad.
a bag
Mm-hmm.
juice is I think like 5 cents US, or maybe like 2 cents US.
Mm-hmm.
It was like $10 Jamaican at the time, or $20 Jamaican at the time.
How much you make dinner? $25? I can't remember because I haven't drunk bag juice in so long.
25 30.
30, I
And
think.
this is just like as the name suggests, some juice in a bag, roughly the size of your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Big Joe. Purple. Hey!
And I'm saying you're going across town or wherever just to go work out yourself on this person's daughter, and not even a bag juice.
Yeah. Yeah. That reached me already. You laugh. That reached me already.
Uh,
Laugh.
Boy. No,
Bro,
And
man,
and
no.
this just goes to
No.
show
hold on,
women
hold
just
on,
meant for
hold on.
sex too.
I won't judge. I
And
don't
when it
judge.
was all said and done, when it was all said and done,
Mhm.
all I got was a thank you, and then just roll over and got in bed. And I'm like, wow. So this is what it feels to be used. This is what it
Damn.
feels like to be used.
Mama
Okay,
said,
Uh,
okay. That was a harsh reality check.
Sonia has had her hand raised for some time. I believe she wants to make a comment.
Sorry.
I even forgot what I was going to say because I was laughing so much. What I was saying, I think I was going to say is in reference to the fact that I've actually ended relationships because a person wants to get serious. I've actually ended a relationship because a person wants to settle down, move overseas, and all that shit. So yeah, I'm not toxic. But as I said before, um, I think my viewpoint on relationship comes from also the fact that I love hanging around guys,
Mm-hmm.
and also the viewpoints of you guys. I tend to agree with it a lot,
Mm-hmm.
which I think which differentiates me from other females. And I think when I do talk to someone, it's a bit more difficult for them to understand me because of the fact that I do understand them and I'm a bit easier to deal with. Because I'm simple, like I'm really easy to deal with. Plus, to add to that, I come off soft. Like I have a personality that seems very soft. Plus, my voice is very soft. So it
As
tends
Darth Marcus would say,
walk
you
in
have
with the wrong intentions. So they tend to come in and approach me like I'm one of those normal females that is gonna put up with certain attitudes and gonna put up with certain things. While
"Play some
when they
soca and
do
see the real her."
when they do certain, when they do like certain actions, I like I don't react. So when I don't react, that becomes strange. And it's like, even with the case of cheating and stuff, I don't agree with. But if a guy cheats, I already can tell that you're going to. It doesn't make any sense to lie to me. And I'm gonna come to you and I'm gonna say, okay, so you did that. When did you do it? And I'm gonna come to you with, like, I have all the details and everything. I'm straight up, I'm straightforward, and I know what I want. If I don't want you, I'm gonna let you know I do not want you. I don't play games. I'm gonna pretend like I'm interested in people. I'm gonna put up a post.
Sure.
I'm gonna put up bullshit because I'm gonna let you know. Look, I talk to you because I like you. I want you, not because I need you. So the second you get in your head that I do need you and I can't do without you, that's the time to show you say, okay, I can't do without you. Because as I said, I don't do the first feelings like that. I'm completely different to a lot of things. So it's just weird for a lot of guys to see with me. And Xavier find it so funny because you actually know me.
It's not, no, for one time you may laugh after. How would that dirty drunkard there you say?
Decent Christian boy like me.
Christian boys are the most vile, evil on this
Lies.
planet. I
Lies.
don't know what you're trying to tell me. Continue, Sonia.
Christian
Don't
virgin
mind us.
boy like me.
Sir,
Yes, we are
your
all virgins.
the virgin have a big red mark underneath it here.
I art a virgin. You can't prove otherwise. Um. So yeah, sorry.
But
So one of
I
the
also
girls.
think it's more difficult when for other person who are guys to understand it. So in a lot of ways it kind of make it easier for us to say, yeah, I can be free over here because they're still over there trying to understand, all right, where the girl come from? Who make her? Who send her? Because it's a point where they don't want me to go, but they're so caught up and confused on how to deal with me that they don't know what to do.
So yeah, you keep them interested.
Yeah, well, I used to get bored, so
Such
yeah.
man was interested. Such man,
Let's not go there.
such man. Oi, such right about Tony and boss a Naruto. He will know true pain.
Shinra Tensei. Anyway, so one of the young ladies, when she answered me about submission, she said, most men don't have the right to even ask a woman to submit because they are not even playing the role. Like as a man, like even outside of financially, like how many of them again, maybe not today, but eventually we'll have to go critique the men, grill the men just as hard. Like how many men know how to be men?
Well, as a man who was raised by a man to be a man, I mean, I can only talk for myself, but am I not a man? Thank you.
Hey Lynn, I will come up there and throw away all your snacks. Don't diss my friend.
Now,
Don't diss
she
Flo.
was, but the point I'm trying to make is, I find it hard. I find that question a loaded one because it's kind of loaded because I can see from both sides of the spectrum. This is why I believe in balance because
Yeah,
balance must be maintained.
most men don't understand the fundamental basics of being a man because they've never been exposed to how a man is supposed to treat a woman.
that's true.
Give and take the circumstances. I'm not saying that every woman, get up every day and chant hell. Some man think them can't manage the frustration and the stress and just walk well apart. So again, we can't completely blame all of this for a woman. As in, what if you're be a man and you're going to accept the roles and responsibilities that come with being a man, That's on you to figure out how you need the help to turn yourself into the man for her. Because you can't say you want to be man. You don't even know the backside fundamentals, the basics of preach, protect, provide. Then there are three. When I said prayer leader, but the point still remain. And misconception was normally when it came to scoldings in family, who do you think is a gate? I think it was the mother who's originally gate. No, it was actually the father. Shoot, you know the mother purpose was to lessen the sting of your father's comments.
Yep.
That was her. She was supposed to tell us, don't be vexed with your daddy. You know,
He means
what
well.
he means well. This used to be common growing up. Women used to be the softer. I'm saying they used to be the softer of the two. And feminism tell them say their femininity somehow makes them weak. And I told my wife, femininity, if used correctly, there's nothing you can't. There's
All right,
nothing about
again,
you
Roger.
do.
Sorry,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
to add to that, it's a
Mhm.
matter of balance because
True.
as we literally just said,
Hmm.
some of the women are not just giving up their femininity because they just like they don't have use for it. It's
True.
just they had no men, so they kind of had to become
Men.
men in
I'm
a
sorry.
sense.
But, I mean, it hurts because, again, I would love for women to get the kind of
It's
outcomes that they
wrong, but
want. I would
can't
love,
can't bash them for it.
and I will say this to anyone, and I hope nobody take this the wrong way. If you know, and I'm not trying to be controversial, I'm coming from a very sincere place. So please bear with me. If you know, and don't act like you don't know, because you have a mirror, you have some form of reflective surface. If you know that you aren't your best you can't demand the best from anyone. And that's how I look at things. This is why I believe you can't just say it, you have to be about it. You have to be the change you want. Every day you get up and say you want to go gym and you never reach there. You never reach there. So again, who's to be blamed? Some
True.
look upon life. Some me look upon life. A man might take it the wrong way and just feel like my love chat.
No,
Who's me?
but I mean, like
Tell you
that's
say
the only that isn't that the only way to really live. Like you are in control of your destiny, even if you were dealt a bad hand in life. I mean,
mm,
all right, look, let us look at us in this little group right here. See, the whole of we decide, say, yo, we need to start workout. We need to get consistent, cause
mm.
we not depend this bag of beer belly at age 40, that nonsense.
Oh,
Right?
oh no.
Honestly,
Oh
me,
no.
I am utterly terrified of that. Brother, Mr. Smuddy,
Sir,
when I
sir,
was coming from work, I was utterly terrified when I
sir.
saw how huge he was.
Let me tell you this. I tell my wife this every day. I say, me want to be one of them 50-year-old. Like, when my daughter's friends see me, they're like, who's your brother? That's the kind of body me want, baby boy. They
Hey,
laugh.
hey,
That's the kind of body me I want.
maximum respect for that
It's a
analogy.
waste.
I like that. I like
So
that.
I step out now my marina and I say, good morning. My neighbor's supposed to look at me and say, this dirty bastard. Why I'm supposed to house look so? Hmm? Why? You don't have a wife, you don't have a wife. I'm not sure. Yes, sir. I want the men to be envious and the woman them want me and them can't have me. That's my definition of me want looking at life. My wife's supposed to know says an action figure. She hugs up an action figure when she closes her eye. She wakes up beside her.
G.I. Bradshaw.
I'm just saying. Just saying. Just,
It's a
You see,
bird. It's a
man,
plane.
I just want to be sexy forever. I mean, I'm,
sir. Yeah, that's the standard I want to hold on to for the rest of my life too. My wife say, oh, he maintained for the last 30 years in many ways. Damn right. Keep it going.
I mean, okay, I'm gonna go off topic again since we're talking about fitness, but how do y'all feel when your girlfriend, like our wife, slaps your ass?
I don't. I don't.
It annoys
Stop.
me.
No,
Straightforward.
to
I
be
don't.
honest, no, you see, because I have a tendency to do it to her more than she does it to me. I kind of just leave it alone. At first, it used to annoy me, but then I say there are other ways to annoy her. You know, but you have some man who really like them take it out of context and say, yo, whoa, how them feel violated. I'm like, no, not really. You're just not used to certain things, bro.
No, like, a couple of the female rugby friends don't like love do it like.
No, you see, in a rugby now, I kind of like understand because yo, them not used to see. Remember, say I be a maga man, them ever look on, so when they see little flesh, they have to
Sir,
just admire it, you know.
You see,
man, I rub.
especially my little sister.
Hello,
Which
me I
one?
rub.
The one in blue or the one in orange?
Orange. I want to I was tying my shoes lace one time. No, I was injured actually, and I bent over. Just here, pow! And my girl took off, and with my sprained ankle, I took off behind her.
Yeah, pass I know.
Of course, in catcher.
No, I didn't.
After these six,
I've never seen her run that fast before.
I say first. Look, you see, I never had that one, and that the one that well fast. Eh?
Anyway,
Yeah, me too. Well, lovely people. Let me continue, woman. I have work.
all right. So the last thing we're going to discuss is the next argument. About, submission. Cause when I get to go through the third talking point. Um. So the young lady said,
Oh,
men are very
it's
egotistical creatures. They like to feel dominant because that's what the world portrays. Men are supposed to be powerful. If my man asks me to be submissive,
the most
I
important.
just take it as he wants to be a man. A man. So I give him that upper hand, but I never allow him to take my power. I kind of agree with that. Again, submission is a choice. So I mean, she's giving him the benefit of the doubt. Well, that's my understanding of what she said.
Yeah, but
Give
it
him the
goes
benefit
both.
of the
It
doubt.
can, yeah, but
See if she can actually work with him as a leader. But I mean, it, you'd have to see like if she's actually submissive or she's just waiting to push him out or waiting until
no,
she's or
to,
whatever.
to me, it doesn't sound fully submissive. It sounds as if
Yeah,
yo,
it doesn't sound all that submissive.
it sounds as if she's just doing it just because it's not
Yeah.
it's not what she wants. From me, if she's not doing it willingly, like that can backfire, and not just in the bedroom,
Yes.
but in many other ways. And I have seen that stuff blurt out at family dinners, with movies. I have seen some scenes. I'm like, wow. And honestly, it just comes out of nowhere. But you can see that this was being built up for some time. You know.
Yeah, it's not a today thing. It's a long time coming.
So honestly, I understand what she's trying to say, but trust me, that's a real double-edged sword right there. You hit or you miss, and you can
Yeah,
get
but
yourself caught.
again, as I said when I'm trying to give the definition, women, you have a choice. You have to choose a man that you are willing or okay with submitting to. If it's a case where you're a person who does not want to submit at all, I would go as far as to say that's also fine. If it's a case where you want somebody to submit to you, get a beta male who's willing to submit to you.
Agreed.
Even yes, but we all know even betas can become alphas if they choose.
No, as in some of them can actually do it, but again, for how, as in based on the studies, it is for how long? Because I remember about Preach mentioned something when they were covering a feminist topic. I think I read about it as well, where feminist women are talking about how they still want men to initiate everything in dating, and the men are supposed to pay, etc., etc. And they want men to be more dominant and initiate things in the bedroom as well. Yet still they would, yeah, and in this exact same breath they're talking about how they were empowered and strong and they can take charge and lead or whatever. Yet still in relationships they want to take the
That
back seat.
all right. You see, you see that last bit where they say they want the men to initiate in the bedroom. I have a huge problem with that. You know why?
Why?
Because you have some of these witches that will go so far. If it doesn't work out, oh, he took advantage of me. Oh, he raped me against my will. Trust me, I've seen it, I've heard it. For God's sake, it almost happened to me. And I told myself, that, bruh, I thought this was only reality TV, but no, it is very much real life there. So when I hear females talk about how they want their men to initiate things in the bedroom, please be mindful because we don't want you to end up um, with bruises and then you say how he molested
Yeah.
you and take
Let me
advantage
tell
of
you
it.
this.
You know?
Let me tell you this. You understand me? Some point when my empire is made, I want to finish the Kama Sutra with my wife. So anybody want to do them, please, Rasta. Me know me want out of life, Rasta. I can be honest with myself with the people. I feel no shame or no regret. Me a big man. A big man. I've been a big man for the last 17, yeah, 18 years. Like I really give a damn what people think. Just saying. And my age, I could care less. And I have goals too. I have things I'd love for me and my wife experience. And I keep saying me and my wife, us. It's always a us for me. And I tell you this about the submission thing, right? Just based on how my wife talks,
Mm-hmm.
I from when we come here, based on how she talk, I could tell she not understand submission. She never fully grasp it. Yes. So it's not like say I came here and she was all Mary Poppins and we just reached here. No, she did not. You talking about me? Yes, I did. Anywho. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Anywho. But the point is,
Eileen,
you saying hi.
Hi. Who's that?
The one that I taught rugby.
Oh,
The man who looks like he's a short, big show, red and a black.
oh, okay.
His name is Dowie. Dario Dowie. But I prefer Dowie. Like I didn't prefer Bradshaw. To be honest, I don't know one of my friends them outside of high school that does call me Bradshaw. Like nobody calls me Andre.
You can feel the power when you say the last name, my friend.
I
Bradshaw.
know. I know that funny.
Mhm.
Is a day when they finally asked me when my first name was calling me like, who names up? Everybody in the rugby bus. I look, who names up? Who names up? I'm just sitting up there and it's like,
Bruh,
Bradshaw.
if it's not Tony
Say it.
or somebody close to me, I call me by my first name. The only thing you will ever hear,
Yeah,
Doctor,
it's weird.
Doc.
That reach me got weird because same thing same thing with what? With Why you? Anywho, yes, people, you have to keep it healthy yourself. You have to maintain and backside of somehow. No? I don't want happy ever after no one repeat. No stay there.
Stop listening to Disney Channel. Happily ever after this take place. When you ride off into the sunset, you have to put in the work.
There is no
Then,
such thing as
then
happy.
ride off into the sunset, and even then you're still not going to ride into the sunset. So,
Sir, I'm telling you this. And I said this to my wife already. I said, if you were exactly what I wanted out of a woman, but I probably left you.
rough.
And let me let me let me digress. Let me expunge. Let me expound on why I said what I said to her, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's something called the 80 to the Petro principle, right? The 80-20 rule. Men are comfortable with 80% of whatever they say they want out of life. Whether it be car, house, and your spouse. Because we all know, as rational thinking human beings, you will never get 100% of what you want out of life. This is man's logic. So, me upon my wife and tell her, say, if you were exactly what I wanted, I think I would have left you. And I mean it too. And every time I say it, it sounds funnier because this man sounds crazy to some people. But have you ever watched this show called Coming to America?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
In the first part of that, when he was being given a bride, did you hear how the man's wife reacted? His wife to be reacted? She was a complete tool. Complete tool. She could help herself. She can rationalize a conversation. All she's doing is yes, yes, no, yes. She was eager to be a thing, a plaything. Pretty much. She was eager to be a plaything. And I was like, no.
Cringe. That cringe.
Exactly. And it's weird because some women believe that men want a woman that's going to be barefoot and pregnant.
If
No.
if Lord Zeus has thought of anything, nigga kind of want you to fight back a little.
A little. What Zupa a rapist still in us. So
Yeah. I know he's not the most upstanding citizen that I could have used, but you know the analogy I was trying to make from
I get it. I get it though.
yeah.
And yet you come back here, know very well what we're gonna do, but you just still come back. So make it make sense. Me not trouble you, what you come back and trouble me. Alright. I know. And so do these people know too. Moving on.
So, anything else for us to add?
He kind of went off track still, but
Did we?
Boy.
hold on.
What used to do?
Yeah, so I mean, we're kind of past the 2 hour marks, and I don't want to go.
Some time.
And people got work in the morning.
Right now, really, but I mean, it's almost 2, so I respect you people.
So,
I'm joking.
All right, so I guess we're just going to sign off.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been real. Thank you again, guys, for coming on. Rajiv has left us.
Long
Yes,
time.
yeah.
Like, what was
Long
it?
time. Long time. That is sign off. Oi,
Thank you to everyone.
I have to, yo, man, I appreciate the fact that yo, the man say, yo, let me mute so no one hears me snoring.
But thank you for everyone who's listening. Thank you for again for tuning in. Well, guys, please like, share, subscribe to the YouTube page. It's a like what is it? Controversial topics or underscore topics.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah. On Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. So like, share, tweet, send us a message. Anything you want us to talk about, anything you want to add, anything we missed. Again, it was mostly it's mostly dudes. So I mean,
hopefully we can motivate some females
yeah,
different views than Tony.
like these girls be busy. Or like I guess maybe
some of them
they're
are
beautiful women.
Some of them
They
aren't
need
even busy. They aren't
I'm
even busy.
naturally handsome. Doc hides his face with his beard, so
You know,
if Doc shaves right now,
you know, say
he will just walk around
oh.
and women just anyway.
I hate you so much.
Thank you again for listening to everybody, and keep supporting us as we build our brand, and yeah, stay awesome.
Sir, our topic for next week, because we don't want to leave them hanging, you know.
Cliffhangers are good sometimes. Don't you watch Game of Thrones?
Oh, interesting.
Just for that, may I end this right now? Just for that, may I end this right now?
Okay. Alright, so the third thing we wanted to talk about was due to their unrealistic expectations, do you think some women want high quality men with low self-esteem that will settle for them?
Yeah, we delve into that next week, and we'll also be.
This is an actual thing. I will elaborate further next week.
Will we also be more pressing towards the men next week as well on these topics?
You guys want to do that next week?
I mean, I'm up for anything, you know.
I mean,
yeah, we kind of review these questions, but just review these topics, but kind of look at the men's side and kind of first step. And I did some research, and just to let you know, when we're kind of press into the men's side, we're gonna have to cover racism. It had a lot to do with it, like escalation. Like it had a lot. Like I mean, there are times I was doing research, and it led me towards racism, and I was like, I just don't want to go that road. Like I go that next road, but like everything leads back to racism, like slavery and stuff.
Hey, you see, this is the difference between us and the beautiful country, States. We're not trying to make history disappear. We are trying to understand and make our future better.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Last week's episode when we were talking about men should moan during sex.
Yeah.
I had a question to pose to you guys.
You know, somewhere, right?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Imagine you're using a Q-tip to clean your ear out. And while cleaning your ear, the lady drops your pants and starts giving you amazing head. Would you or would you not moan? Think about it and tell me next week.
I have to think, because I think the smile on my face alone tells you what I'm going to say. But let's save that for next week, shall we?
So we're gonna kind of start grilling men next week. But we were planning to also have sex on the first date. Does it matter?
No.
How much should
I heard,
one
You know they
I
heard
heard,
it, right?
say something?
I heard Lynn. I heard that shit.
How
That
much
came
should
from a
someone
woman.
spend on the first date?
Mm-hmm.
Important questions to ask on the first date.
Indeed.
And this kind of doesn't tie into it. I'm thinking that I should have this or change it. Polygamy versus cheating.
Didn't you cover that? Well, you did do it partially. I
Kind of
guess you want to. I guess you want to go more in depth with more persons on the panel. So I guess
Yeah,
that's
yeah, I do, because apparently it's becoming more and more popular, especially in the US. Like, jokes aside, it just makes sense.
actually becoming very popular in here, surprisingly.
Oh, it's getting more popular in Jamaica as well.
Yep. I was very surprised. Very surprised. I was like,
I mean, I've done it, but not in the conventional sense. Me and two chicks. It wasn't in the conventional sex, in the conventional sense.
Mm-hmm.
As in,
I
they
mean,
knew
I-
each other, but I mean, I was single, so it was just basically two side chicks competing with my laptop.
One man.
competing for your laptop. Your laptop.
My laptop was my wife.
Mm.
Everything else was secondary.
All anime.
No, actually, back then it was Netflix.
Netflix has a Netflix
I
has
had
a
just gotten Andy's Netflix password, so I did watch anime, but it was just Netflix, sir. But anyway,
Between two.
happy Mother's Day again to all the mothers and all the women who fake their pregnancy. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it.
Mm-hmm.
So take care, guys. Stay awesome and
I'll give you a minute. A minute.
good night.
Good night. Interesting
oh
people.
my god, I need to behave. I need to
Yeah,
behave.
Very
I need to behave.
interesting people.
You know, I think we have created history on controversial topics. Xavier Doctor was not an asshole. It was Dario Doi for the entire episode. Wow.
So, right.
He's Christian virgin boy.
Right.
Virgin.
Bradshaw, remember, coffee.
Yes, sir. Best believe that. Thank you for the tip
Oi.
again.
Wait, we already know we're gonna hear about that, but anyways,
And again, I am no child. Why should I care?
we know.
I am not a child. Why should I care? Why should I care what another one thinks? Anywho. Yeah.
Right.
Yes,
Signing off. Good night, Tonian. I hope you sleep well and don't give the people them son a hard time. Dario, we will speak.
yeah.